Well, happy 2025, baby. Hey guys, how we doing? This is Omar Andreasen with the Andreasen Real Estate Group, located out here in Central Florida. So, first off, happy New Year. This is our very first YouTube video of the year. And what we're going to be doing is we'll at least be putting out one a week. So to make sure that you guys are in tune with what's going on in the Central Florida market and just real estate overall. So today we're actually going to be talking about the top 5 trends that are shaping the Central Florida real estate market in 2025. Let's jump into it.
The Andreasen Group. The Andreasen Group.
As we're going through, you're going to see me maybe look down a little bit. I'm just looking at my notes, or you might see me jot. So, that's what I'm doing. I'm just looking at my notes real quick to make sure that we cover everything as much as we can, all right, as we're going through this. So, trend number 1, shift in housing demand. What do you guys think about that? So, right now, when it comes to Central Florida has always been a very popular place. I think we can all agree, right? And it's usually always because of the theme parks, especially now. Universal now is adding more things to the theme parks. Disney's when they took over Marvel, they added more things. So theme parks for sure. Weather number 1, and we have no state income tax, so that definitely helps. But I think now what we're seeing a lot more is we're seeing a lot of people that live in the Tampa, Miami area. They're starting to move more into Central Florida area because after these last hurricanes that we just went through in 2024, as you know, Tampa's got hit 2 or 3 times. So people are moving also too from Fort Myers, Cape Coral. So they're moving more inland. So we are seeing a lot more growth when it comes to Central Florida, which is, I tell you right now, I-4 just is probably one of the worst roads I've ever been on. And I know if anyone's watching here, probably from California or New York, like, no, 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 no. You can't compare to our roads. And I get that. New York City, can't really compare to Florida. You guys are small, and I get it. You're on top of each other. California, okay, possibly. Even Miami might throw something in there too, because Miami is hectic, and I'm from Miami myself. I got to throw this up. They haven't done great, but hey, they're getting there. They're getting there, so don't judge. All right, so right now you do have a lot of growth happening in Central Florida. So with that being said, the market itself has cooled off a little bit in Central Florida, but you still have people, even though the interest rates are where they're at, you still have people relocating here, right? Mostly because one, listen, you move inward, you have the safety of not being hit by a hurricane when it's full strength. So by the time usually a hurricane hits here, you're about category 1 all the way to a tropical storm. And I've been now in Central Florida for about 20 years. So I left Miami when I was 13. So living here now definitely wasn't like when I was a kid. We got hit with Andrew, and that was horrible. So, hey, weather's beautiful. You don't have to worry about hurricanes as much. You only got to worry about tourists. Now, especially tourists. They just stop in the middle of the road and decide to take pictures of whatever the hell they see. Now, that is dangerous as far as I'm concerned. Probably a little bit more dangerous when it comes to hurricanes. All right, so number 1, we talked about Central Florida and the growth that it's having. Number 2, listen, and as far as the properties and the demand of the properties that we have here, right? So when we look at South Beach, you have a lot of condos. And now with the new laws being passed, with the condos doing to condos in South Beach kind of falling. And also, too, I read not that long ago that actually the condos now near the coastal areas are actually starting to sink. So because of that, condos have kind of hit the market a lot more and a little bit lower. But of course, listen, it's depends on the kind of lifestyle you're living in, right? Well, what you want, I'm sorry. So the condo gives you the lifestyle of you don't have to take care of anything, but yes, you are going to pay for it, right? Those fees are going to be a little bit higher. And especially now until we kind of refigure how old the condo building is, make sure that they're up to par to today's standards, which I completely agree, right? Safety is number 1 by far. So make sure that those condos are up to sniff. Make sure that they are up to code. So yes, you do have to pay a little bit extra, but then after that, Hopefully, then they start coming back down again because the insurance companies will be happy, hopefully. And then all of a sudden now, hey, guess what? Now instead of paying seven, 800, $1,200 a month, now that's just come down, and now we're paying maybe five or six. But with the beauty with the condo is that they usually take care of all the outside painting, they take care of all the lawn work, they take care of all the roof work, etc. We live in a condo here in Celebration, Florida, and I love it because I don't have to be out there doing work. But you know what I love most of all is I'm not getting annoying letters from the HOA telling me that I need to trim my bushes a certain way, I need to cut my grass a certain way, I need to power wash something a certain way, paint my house, paint this, paint that, whatever it is. That's what I love about living in a condo because you know what? I'm paying that extra fee, but it's not my responsibility. So if you're gonna yell at somebody, you can't yell at me because you got to yell at yourself. So that's what I love about it. Right now in Central Florida, so when it comes to your average price range, you're sitting in that high 300,000 mark right now. Okay. Now one of the fastest growing areas by far in Florida is Polk County. Right, you got Winter Havens out there, Arbondale's out there, Haines City, Davenport. Huge growth going on right now in those areas. So you have a lot of new builds out there as well. And you can really get some good incentives when it comes to the new builds. Okay. With the new builds, when you walk in, as long as you use their lender, they're going to give you a really good buy down rate. Okay. And they usually give you money towards closing costs as well. And of course, on top of that, you get the warranties, right? So if that's something that you want a little bit more peace of mind, and you're like, you know what, for the same price of a used home that might be 5, 10, 15, 20 years old, then you know what? I feel more comfortable buying a brand new property. And at least I'm getting some incentives back with it, and I got that peace of mind. So it just really depends on what you're looking for. It could be a neighborhood, like for example, out here in Celebration, we do have a new phase two. It's so we have Meritage is building out here. So if you want new houses in Celebration, that's available. But maybe you don't want to live on that side of Celebration. You would rather live closer to maybe east side, or maybe in the main village where, yeah, it's not new, but at the same time, you can also go in there, and as long as you got a really good negotiator on your side, then what we can do is always make sure we get you money back towards closing costs, or even towards concessions to maybe upgrade the house or whatever it may be. Because one of the biggest knocks here in Celebration, absolute beautiful place to live, but good Lord, almost every single property here is completely outdated. And you know what? When these properties go up for sale, which right now we have 88 on the market, mixed between condo, townhomes, and single family, and it's just you're looking at them like, how much work does this property need? And it needs quite a bit. But here's the thing: when you live in Celebration, what you're paying for is the quality of life. And just if you have kids, amazing. We have two little girls, and I tell you what, I wouldn't change nothing besides staying and living here until maybe they're out. Maybe then me and the wife might decide we want to, move up north, back where she's from, in Philadelphia area or New Jersey or whatever. But as of right now, this is home, and we're gonna be here for a while because our oldest is only in second grade. But so it just really depends on what you're looking for and what area you want to be. If you want to be a little bit more rural that or country, then yes, you want to be out there in that Winter Haven area, Arbondale, or you could be in Davenport where it's on the outskirts, but you're not too far you're not too far either from the main road right there on 192 I-4, and also to the theme park. So you do have many options when it comes out here, when it comes to moving out here. So depending on what kind of lifestyle that you're actually looking for yourself. Okay. So the statistics and relocation trends, I already broke down that as far as where people are coming from. Now we do have, of course, people from New Jersey, and by the way, if you're from California, dear Lord, hope everything's okay. Right now, you guys are getting, it's so sad to see what's going on in California right now. But reason I bring California up is because you have a lot of people relocating from California area, from New York, from New Jersey, and you don't know, maybe now because of these fires, which seem to happen almost every year around the same time, which is really sad. Now, some of these people now might be thinking, you know what? I'm done with this. And especially with a lot of the movie production moving to Georgia. I do know some people in the business and that business, and that they've actually moved out to Georgia. So maybe that might be happening. People are moving out to Georgia, maybe even moving to Florida as well, because we're not far from Georgia at all. Anywhere between 3 to 7 hours, depending on what part of Georgia you're getting in and what part of Florida you live in. So first off, if you're in Cali and you're listening to this, please hope everything's well. Hope you guys are safe. Please stay safe while you're out there. All right. And the last point we're going to touch here, as far as the shift in housing demand, the buyers and sellers, what do they have to adapt with these shifts going on? And listen, right now, where we're at, we're definitely in a buyer's market. And how do we know that we're in a buyer's market? Well, one, we look at inventory, right? So if usually you're anywhere between 4 months or higher, or usually about 3.5 months and higher, then you're definitely in a buyer's market. Okay. And when those buyers are coming in and asking for 10,000, 20,000, 30, 40, 50, $60,000 in concessions, and the seller is pretty much like, you know what? I have no choice because this is probably one of the best offers that I've received. And I have to give up a little bit here just to make sure that I sell my property because maybe I need to move closer to the grandkids. Maybe this property has outgrown us and it costs me too much to run and it's just me and my wife or just me on my own. Right now, if you're a buyer, by far, you have so much buying power at the moment. It's amazing. So if you need a good agent, okay, make sure you reach out to us and let's start talking and let's see what we can do. Now, if you're on the selling side, you know what? Right now, with a lot of our listings that we had, there's some sellers we did not take on, and one of the major reasons being is because that seller's mindset was still back during COVID. In COVID, which I can't understand how people were paying 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 grand over asking. And some of these sellers are still in that mindset, and trying to get them out of that mindset has just been difficult. So with those sellers that we said, listen, we'll help you out, but understand that we're not at that market anymore. We're at this market, and we spend money obviously to market your property. I mean, we spend, depending on the price range of the property, we spend anywhere between $10,000 to $20,000 to market your property. So understand that this is a partnership that we're going into. And if we can't get the partner on the other side to kind of at least meet us in the middle, or we say, you know what? This is some of the things that we've been doing too. We're like, let's do this. Let's do it your way for at least 2 weeks. And if your way is not working at all, then we switch it to my way, right? Then I'm okay with that because now I have an open-minded seller that's actually willing to work with me and understand that this is a partnership. But sellers, please understand that of course, every market's different, depending on where you are in Florida or even up north or even anywhere in the US. So, but right now, you just look at the market, look what's happening within your local area. And if you guys don't know what's really going on, then let us know. You can actually just down in the link below, just shoot us your email address. And what we'll do is we'll connect you to our market reports. So then you can see what's going on in your market. Even better, we connect people to our MLS as well, because then what we do, depending on the neighborhood and the zip code that you're in, we tap you in to our MLS codes. And now when you see the zip code every single month, you'll see what's going on in your neighborhood, what went pending, what sold, what expired. So you know everything that's going on within your neighborhood if you want to be that nosy Nelly. So just reach out to us. We'll definitely make sure that we help you out with that. Interest rates. This has definitely been one of the most challenging discussions that I've had, I think, with almost every single buyer that we've spoken to, right? Interest rates have gone down, yes, but they're still higher than what we're used to. Right? And it's funny because speaking to my father-in-law, and he's like, man, he goes, I remember, when we were buying houses back in the 70s and 80s, our interest rates were anywhere between 13 to 18%. And I said, yeah, I get that, but at the same time, your houses were also 30, 40, 50, $60,000. So and I get it. There's some, Omar, but the dollar wasn't as strong, or inflation, etc. I get it, but now of course inflation is pretty damn high. Average cost is pretty damn high no matter where you go in the US. So, but interest rates, listen, this is for me doing real estate now almost 19 years. This is what I can tell you. Interest rates go up and down. All right, that's guaranteed. So you can always mortgage yourself out of a high interest rate to jump to a lower interest rate. Okay. That's number one. Now, number two, houses in time have always gone up, right? Are you probably one of these people right now that is listening saying, man, you know what? I told myself I should have bought that house last year because they were asking 300,000 for it. And now all of a sudden you're like, man, I love that house. And now they're asking 450 or it's sold at 450, right? So you just missed that boat. Listen, it's one of those things. I don't force people into buying a property because first things first, not everyone's a buyer, and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay. But you have to make sure that it's a right fit for you. Okay. You have to make sure that you have the money set aside for you to make sure that you can do the down payment, make sure that you have enough for the closing costs, and make sure that you have enough at least for, I always tell my clients, at least put away about 6 months of payments that you're comfortable and know that if you lose your job or something happens, then you know what? You have that little nest egg right there for you. Okay. So I know not everyone's a buyer, but there you go. Those are the little things I have for you just in case you are, and refinance out. Okay. Lower it down, get it down, and now your payment's just gone down. Here's another one for you. Insurance. Shop your insurance every single year. Just talking to a friend of mine, his mortgage dropped $800 because he's like, I never knew I can shop for insurance every single year. I said, absolutely you can. I said, go out and shop it. He shopped it, $800 back in his pocket, lowered his mortgage payment. So you can lower it with interest, with refinancing. Okay, when the rates come down, look at your mortgage, look at your insurance. Okay, see what your insurance is and shop that around. Okay, make sure you definitely shop that around. Let's see other things. Now, as the house starts gaining value, okay, definitely look into HELOCs. All right. HELOCs are great ways for you to tap into your equity, and yes, you do get charged a prime rate, but at the end of the day, if that prime rate is 8 or 9%, you only get charged on what you use. Let's say you want to make maybe an upgrade to the house, okay, and you got a HELOC of 60, but you only need 20. Well, then you're just going to pay on the 20,000. And then obviously you pay that down in time. Or maybe now it's time for you to look to buy an investment property because you know what? Let's start making some residual income. So now you use that money to go ahead and purchase another property to help you start getting some residual income back in your pocket and start building up your net worth. Okay. I think I covered everything there. I went a little bit further, some investment things, but hey, there you go. All right, growth of smart homes and tech in real estate. Man, there's so much technology out there. For example, we use something called HomeBot, which I'm a huge fan of. I love HomeBot. I have it. We All our clients are signed up to it. I'm signed up to it. It definitely lets me know that if you it gives it kind of breaks it down for you. If you guys don't know what HomeBot is, it kind of breaks it down for you like, okay, here's what your estimated value is. And guys, please, this is understand that when you get a report from me, an estimated value, all that is, it pulls everything around the area of what's sold and just gives you an estimated value. I remember, I think about a month ago, I had some guy reach out to me, and that what was on our sheet. Never met him. He just signed up, and he pretty much called me a moron. He said my value is so much higher than this. I responded back to him like, sir, you are probably 100% correct, but understand that this algorithm pulls everything in from the area, from the MLS, by the way, and it just kind of gives you a range. Every house is going to be different. Okay, if you have a brand new roof, if you have brand new flooring, you upgraded your bathrooms, you upgraded your kitchen, etc. And mind you, says that on this report, but people just they just don't read, do they at times? And understand that when we send those reports out, it's just an estimated value of what's going on. It's not a true value to your property because that's when we physically have to go in there and look at your property. And then that's when we can gauge that value for you. Okay. So just wanted to touch base because, there's so many out there that will give you a value. Don't use Zillow. Can't stand Zillow. Sorry, Zillow. But you guys need to start talking to the MLS a lot more. Hopefully, I know I've heard that you're going to start doing it, but hopefully you start it very, very soon and get it quick because your estimates are sometimes absolutely crazy. So HomeBot comes in, gives you an estimated value, but then too, it breaks it down even more. It says, listen, have you ever thought about maybe renting out long term? If you rented it out long term, here's how much you can get. So it gives you a range. Have you ever thought about maybe doing short term rentals? Here's a range of what you can get per night. So it kind of breaks everything down and you can actually enter all your financials into it. So, meaning how much your mortgage, how much mortgage you have left, what's your interest rate. So then if you enter all those things into HomeBot, then it gives you an even better report, okay, to understand it. Buyers. Now we just tapped into, we got HomeBot for buyers as well. So now we're tapping all our buyers into HomeBot because it's giving out the same reports, what's going on in the area, and kind of telling you where the interest rates are. So then you can understand how much that roughly how much you're going to be paying every single month. So now let's say you might be looking in a College Park area in Florida and you're like, man, okay, I can only afford 1,800 a month, but based on what I'm seeing out there, I can't do that. Maybe I need to move a little bit further out to kind of get what I need within my budget. Okay. So HomeBot is one of my favorite ones, but there's so much technology out there right now, which I think is great. I think it's great that you have all these technology companies going against each other. And you know what? You guys want to make a bet right now? I bet sooner or later Elon Musk is going to come up with something about real estate. I heard that right now he's looking to buy the football club Liverpool in England. Wouldn't be surprised if he starts dabbling here sooner or later in real estate and then maybe start forming his own MLS. I don't know. You never know. So what would that be called? Let's see. Zillow Musco? I don't know. Anyways, I'm not very good at coming up with names. My kids were here like, Daddy, you're not very funny. Okay, I get it. Whatever. All right, so you have many, many different things going on there, okay, with technology. One of the things I love too, smart homes, and especially with the smart home technologies that you have, you can now control your thermostat throughout the house. You can control your lights, so definitely bring down that bill, okay? The only thing I will tell you is, oh, and then I love the garage door opener. So you can actually literally just, click a phone, open up the garage door opener. Let's say if your kids are there, maybe a family member, you can even lock your house just in case maybe you don't want a certain family member in. But listen, if you're selling your house, that right there, and if you're a buyer walking through, you got to be very, very careful when you're walking through these smart home, okay? Because now that seller can listen to everything that you're saying. So you're giving them, and especially if you walk in with the oohs and the ahs and you're so excited about the house, like, you know what? I will pay a little bit more for this property, but we'll start at, let's say, 270, but I'll definitely pay the 310 that they're asking. Well, there you go. They just got the insight. So as you're walking through the house, make sure that you are not talking too much, okay? So if you're an agent listening to this, make sure you talk to your clients before you start walking through those smart homes because that right there will definitely hurt your hand. All right. So we got the smart homes technology. We got HomeBot out there as well. Let's see what else. Increase homes value. Yeah. We already talked about that. Oh, you know what? We just added in ours. So we added a little cleaner into our AC system, our air ducts. And it was funny. The first time we installed it, talking about technology, installed it, and then my wife's like, I don't like the smell. What do you mean you don't like the smell? She goes, I don't like the way it smells here. I'm like, because it smells weird. I'm like, yeah, it's called clean air. Like, I get it. You're from New Jersey, you're from Philly. So, clean air is not it doesn't exist as much, but I'm like, this is clean air going through our ducts. So it's a great system. I forgot what it's called, but I'll make sure to find it. Put the notes on here. You just put it in there, and then every 3 years you take it out, change it. I see a lot of new home builders now are putting it automatically into their homes as well when they're selling. So that's probably one of my favorite ones. And even now you have the air filters now that you automatically will tell you when they need to be changed, and then it actually orders the new air filters for you ready to go. So there's so much technology out there right now where, to be honest with you, almost a lot of things are just you can set it and forget it, right? So be careful with that because sometimes we get a little bit too lazy. But hey, technology is a beautiful thing. All right, let's talk about expansion of new construction communities. Well, as I spoke about before, one of the biggest growing areas is the Polk County area. And it's been like that now for It's been like that for a while, but lately we've been getting a lot more traction here the past 2 years. Why? Very affordable, right? Where you can buy a brand new house in Polk County, ranging anywhere between the low 200s on up to the fives. So depending on what you're looking for, it's there. And a lot of the jobs are starting to come out to Polk County as well. Right. Polk County is not far from, depending on what part of Polk County you're in, you're not far from Miami, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours on the back end of A1A. Also, too, you're not far from Tampa. So, depending on once again where you're at, like if you're in Lakeland, you're only like 45 minutes, maybe 30, well, maybe 30 to 35, depending on traffic. But you can get to a lot of the big cities, Orlando, Tampa, Miami. You can get there fairly quickly, at least within 2 hours range. You could be in one of those big hubs. So some people are saying, you know what? I'd rather work in Tampa and just live in somewhere like Lakeland where I don't mind the commute. And especially now with Teslas, they drive themselves, right? So, like I don't mind the commute because I could sit there and listen to an audiobook or I need that space to get away and from my family, or just I need that Zen moment to myself, right? So Polk County offers so much. And I mean, being, we used to have a business out there, but like Winter Haven, for example, the chain of lakes is beautiful out there. There's so many things to do outdoors that if you're an outdoors person, you have to head out here. It's gorgeous. You have your lakes, you have everyone on there on their boats. And what I love too, you have a lot of the restaurants right on the lake where you can just pull your boat right into dock, go ahead, eat real quick, grab you some fresh oysters, and then just jump in and go back out and enjoy yourself, on the skis, jet skis, etc. So Polk County has many, many different things. Jobs, affordability, and of course, everything else that Florida offers as well, the weather. So it's one of those things that when it comes to new construction, it's a great area right now. It's the fastest growing area in Florida. So make sure that you look into Polk County. If you need help or if you need maybe some guidance, feel free to give me a call. Reach out to us. I was actually relocated from Miami to Polk County, which I was not thrilled about at first because it was literally night and day. But you know what? Glad I went out there. I was, well, 12 years old, like I had a choice, right? Really enjoyed it. Made loads of friends. So much to do. With whether it was hiking, going hunting out there, boats, enjoying all the outdoor activities that you have, and being so close to all the major cities. Tampa, Orlando, Jacksonville wasn't far either. Jacksonville's not that far. And then on the back end, you got Miami. So when I went to go see my family in Miami, I would take the back roads and I was there. So definitely make sure you look into Polk County, really affordable. And they got good schools as well. And if you're an athlete or if you have kids that are looking to become athletes, by far, I mean, Polk County is a breeding bred for athletes. You have the Pouncey twin, you have Derwin James, you have Ray Lewis from University of Miami, baby. So I mean, listen, it is a breed. It just breeds professional athletes. When it comes to competition, some of the top competitions you're going to find. So many, many, many reasons that Polk County should be somewhere on your list if you are looking to relocate. Okay. So, like I said, obviously, I want to keep this not too long, but I can dive more into that. Just make sure that you reach out to me directly, and then we can kind of go into, kind of what is it that you're looking for, what's your fit, and then from there we can kind of place you in the right place. All right. All right. So we covered the new construction now, short-term rentals and investment property. All right. I'm not gonna lie to you. Short-term rentals the past couple years has taken a hit. Hasn't been as profitable as it usually is. Now, mind you, someone listening to this might say, "Well, no, that's not true because I'm killing it." And yeah, listen, it's a business. And if it's a business that you're running yourself, then it's different because you're running it yourself. So you're going to take care of that business more than if you hire a property management company. Now, mind you, there might be a property management company listening to this, I say, no, we actually do very well. And on average, we keep our homes anywhere between 28 to 35 weeks full. Okay. But just from what I'm seeing on short-term rentals, the numbers are not what it used to be. And let me tell you why. So when these builders came out, and usually the short-term rentals were always they were brand new builds. Okay. So Lennar did a lot of them, DR Horton, etc. So you had a lot of these new builders come out, and they really, and Lennar kind of created the short-term rental market, was like the first builder to really go after it and did a great job. But what they saw is the markup, because that, for example, you can build a short-term rental home in one neighborhood, and then two neighborhoods down it's the same exact home, where this home here, short-term rental, is priced between 5 to 600,000, and then this house here is priced between 3 to anywhere to low fours. You're like, wait a minute, what the hell is going on? Well, it's because the people buying the short-term rentals obviously don't live here, they live in Europe. So in my opinion, the developer was taking, would I say take advantage of, or maybe an opportunity, right? Because it's one of those things where you have to be very careful, because at the end of the day, the consumer says what the consumer is going to pay, and the consumer is the one who sets the prices. So if the consumer is saying that, yes, I'll pay 600,000 for this property that I can short-term rental because it comes with a pool, whatever it is, or the amenities, then that's what the consumer is willing to pay. So, coming from that mindset, that I can understand, hey, if the consumer says that I'm going to pay X, then you give the consumer that, because the consumer in their end, like, this is value to, right? So I think one of the reasons why short-term rentals I've kind of took a big hit here lately in the past couple years is because the prices were so high. And now, of course, when you got prices that high, you have mortgage payments, right? Some of them still have balloon payments. And that really affects, when your rentals are coming in, that affects what you can pay out, right? So let's say you make $6,000, okay, a month during the busy season. Well, you got cleaning fees, you got pool fees, you got management fees, you have your electric, you have your water, you have your gas, you have your internet, you have all these different fees coming up. And let's say by the time, you pay everything out, you only have $2,000 left and your mortgage is 2,500. Well, now you got to dig in your pocket, okay? Now, I'm not saying that's for every scenario, but being that I know that market really well, I have spoke to a lot of people, and that's one of the main reasons why they kind of said, "Hey, let's just put it on there, sell it. I don't want it no more." Or they move over to long-term rental, where now they know exactly what they're going to get every single. Now they understand that, hey, yeah, short-term rental, I understand that some months I can make loads of money, but I have all these outgoing. Where long-term rental, well, what outgoing do I really have? I got my mortgage and maybe a HOA. That's it. So now you can balance your books a little bit better. But I get it. Sometimes with a short-term rental, you want your family to come and stay. So like, but we want to stay in our house because we come several times a year. That makes sense. So what I'm saying is at the moment right now with short-term rentals, you can actually get a pretty damn good deal on picking up a short-term rental in the area. And if you don't want to short-term rental it, then you can maybe do long-term, or maybe do a little bit of short-term, okay, and then keep it the rest for yourself. But you have to make sure too that you also look at the bylaws in the community. Make sure that the bylaws allow you, if you do live in the property or going to do, I'm sorry, live in the property or do a short-term rental, make sure that they allow it, okay? Because there's some communities that say, hey, you can only live here for 4 to 6 months out of the year, then you have to be out. Some of them are mixed. Some of them are short-term and long-term. Some of them are just strictly short-term, period. And that's it. You can't do nothing with it. Right? Investment properties, opportunities. I think right now in the state of Florida is a damn good time because you're an investor, you're a buyer. So I would say definitely start looking at picking some properties up. You have people moving out here. People need to live somewhere, even though, and mind you, there's apartments going up everywhere in the state of Florida right now. Everywhere you turn, apartments are going up. So as long as when you buy that property, if you put out a good product, right, meaning that the house is clean, the house is updated, and you kind of price it to what the market is in the area, what it's asking, then you'll do just fine if the numbers make sense. A lot of the clients that we work with, they want to look at getting anywhere between a 6 to 9% return on their money. And I have one guy who has several, and when I approached him about buying probably a couple more, he goes, you know what, I kind of want to sit back and see what The new government's going to do the first quarter, but right now I'm happy with I have some of my money parked in a CD where I'm getting 5% return on my money, and I don't have to deal with late fees, tenant not paying, etc. So it really depends on what you're looking to get and what return and what risk you really want to take, right? So when it comes to that. So, all right, think those are pretty much so guys. Listen, this is what we touched on. All right. We talked about the shift in the housing demand, number one. Number two, rising interest rates and affordability and the challenges. Okay. Number three, growth of smart homes and the tech and real estate. Number four, expansion of new construction communities and the areas. Number five, short-term rentals and investment opportunities. And then finally, time for me to conclude this. So, I just want to say thank you so much for if you've been through this whole thing, which is what almost 37, 38 minutes, I think right now. Thank you so much. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, share, follow, call me. Okay, please reach out to us. If you have any questions about the real estate market, if you think you're going to get into it, even if you want to become a real estate agent, give us a call. I love talking to real estate agents that are looking to get into it, into this profession, because I'm very honest with you. At the end of the day, I got lied to about many, many things. So I'm going to be brutally honest with you, which might scare you away. But if you need a mentor, I'm here. You can come join our team. If you don't want to join our team per se, but want to join us with EXP, then you know what? That's fine too. I'll still help and mentor you. That's okay. But if you have any questions whatsoever, buying, selling, investing, even construction, I forgot, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but we also develop as well. So, anything that you guys need real estate, please feel free to reach out to us. I just want to thank you so much. Happy 2025. Let's make it a great one, guys. Thank you so much. Take care.